Hi, everyone. Hi, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. I'm just going to give everyone a few minutes to join us, so bear with me. Hello, Rem Rem. How are you doing today? Hello, Sentu. Where are you guys calling from? Hello to Florink. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. Hello, Murakji. Hello, Yasin. Rem Rem, you have a question. Feel free to post it in the comments. I'll be able to get to them towards the end of our session today. We've got some people tuning in from Algeria. Hello. Good question, Jay. I'll be sure to get to that in a bit. We've got Wiz tuning in from Sudan. We've got Ruki tuning in from Nigeria. Thanks for joining, everyone. Scott from Tennessee. Usman, hello. I'm doing very well. Thanks so much for asking. Okay. Just a few more minutes here to let everyone join our Facebook, YouTube live session for today. Just from Ghana. If you guys have questions, feel free to post them in the chat box here. Our team's going to compile everything, and then towards the end of our news update, I'll be sure to get to your questions and answer them to the best of my ability. We've got some interest in immigration pathways for nurses, Canadian visa. We've got people tuning in from Angola, Afghanistan. I am going to be talking a little bit about Afghanistan today. I know there's a lot of interest, of course, and concern there. I'll also be talking about express entry, which is always a hot topic every month. And I'll also be sharing some information and immigration pathways for French speakers. I know a lot of people tuning in, a lot of our followers are from French-speaking countries, so that might be of interest to everyone. Okay. I have some people asking for my phone number here. If you want to visit our website, www.visaplace.com, you can book a consultation with us. One of our team members will meet with you, we'll talk to you, we'll get to know you a little bit better, and we can help figure out the best immigration pathway for you. Hi, everyone. We have a question about teachers applying for immigration to Canada. It's a great question, Arshad. Okay. We're looking for immigration pathway for nurses again. We've got Adam, who's a teacher. We've got some interest from Pakistan and Bangladesh. We have some questions about SIMP. Thanks for posting, Gurpreet. A few more minutes here, and then I'll get started shortly. For those of you who are new to our live sessions, welcome. My name is Victoria. I am an immigration consultant with Visa Place. We host these live sessions each month to share the latest immigration updates on Canadian immigration programs. Visa Place, we are a law firm based in Toronto, Ontario, Canada, but we service clients all across the globe. For those of you who are regulars to our sessions, welcome back. Thanks so much for tuning in. Today, I am going to be talking about Afghanistan. I understand with the situation there, there's been a lot of questions and concerns about what we can do for Afghani nationals. A lot of people in Canada who have family members there have been calling in to inquire about that, so I will share some details there. I'll also share what's been going on with Canada's border updates. Last month, we did open up to US citizens, so I'm going to share what's going on in the horizon. As always, the express entry section, I'll be sharing the latest draws, the results, and what I think is going to happen over the next couple of months. As mentioned earlier, I will be talking about immigration programs and pathways for French speakers and Francophone people who are bilingual, who can speak English and French. I know a lot of our client base are from countries where French is the primary language. So I think there's a great opportunity there, as well as I will be touching on the Agri-Food Pilot Program. Okay, so the Agri-Food Pilot Program is for agricultural workers in Canada. Okay. At the end of our session as well, I am going to be hosting a question and answer period. So if you have any questions for me, if you have any questions about yourself, about immigration criteria, I'll do my best to do a little bit of a quick assessment of your situation, either for yourself or your family or friends. Or if you have any other questions related to Canadian immigration, I'm happy to help answer them. So make sure you post them in our chat box, and then I will get to them as soon as I can. Okay, so let's get started. Okay, so in regards to what's been going on in Afghanistan, as we are kind of sitting tight to see what's coming in the near future and what's unfolding, it's really unfortunate to see what's been happening to people in Afghanistan. In Canada, the Canadian government hasn't quite announced any measures yet, but they are in talks about introducing a new settlement program for citizens of Afghanistan who are either there or outside of Afghanistan. As I mentioned, a lot of people have been calling family members in Canada who have parents, siblings in Afghanistan. They want to bring everyone here as quickly as possible. And see if there's any ways to bring them here other than through a refugee program or stream. So our team has been working really hard to get to these inquiries as soon as possible. For today, I am going to be sharing one program that is available to help, as well as what's to come. So what's in the talks right now with the government, as well as what we can do in the meantime while we wait for new information. So firstly, the first program that is available right now is for Afghan citizens whose employment involved a significant and enduring relationship with the government of Canada. So we're looking specifically at those who have been employed at the Embassy of Canada in Afghanistan. interpreters who worked with the Canadian Armed Forces, drivers, cooks, anyone that worked with the Canadian Armed Forces, and other local staff members who worked in these organizations. So there is a program to apply for permanent residence for this specific group of people. Meanwhile, we are looking at a potentially new program that they've announced, which will focus on specific vulnerable groups that are welcome to Canada through current resettlement streams. So we're looking at women leaders, human rights defenders, journalists, persecuted religious minorities, LGBTI individuals, and family members of previously resettled interpreters. So it is a very targeted group that we're looking to help here. And of course, there are so many people that need our assistance and support beyond these groups. Canada has announced that we are looking at bringing in approximately 20,000 Afghan refugees. But of course, details on that right now is not available. But as soon as we hear something, we will be sure to let everybody know. What can we do in the meantime? It's one thing to kind of just wait for the government to announce and announce new programs, but there are some things that we can take action from now for family members who have applications in place. So either through economic immigration or family sponsorship, there is a possibility for us to request urgent processing and hopefully have the case expedited as quickly as possible. What that would look like would be us representing your case and trying to push that along through the various streams within immigration to hopefully speed up the process and have the foreign national who's applying for immigration come to Canada as soon as possible. Okay, so that's one thing. The second thing what we can do is assess other alternatives for coming to Canada. We can look at study permits. We can look at work permits. We can look at other permanent residence options. Refugee cases, refugee streams aren't the only way. And of course, there's always a limit in that sense. It's a small population that we can help. So for us, we want to look at all potential opportunities. And myself and our team members have been working with people in Canada who are looking to help their family members. So we are working on other solutions. If you're a business owner in Afghanistan, if you are a student looking to explore other avenues here, that may be an interim measure for us to get you out of Afghanistan as quickly as possible. In the meantime, our team has also shared some next action steps. If you are in Canada, write to your local MP. We can always write an email and get some action, some movement moving forward. We can also write to immigration to help support a special humanitarian program for Afghani nationals. So those are some of the things that we can do for now while we wait for new information to be released. Okay. Moving on to border updates for Canada. A few weeks ago, on August 9th, Canada began to open our borders to American citizens and permanent residents. So if you are fully vaccinated, you are eligible and you are still available to come to Canada and travel for non-essential travel. So tourism, visiting family members, whatever reason it is that you want to come to Canada. We have had a lot of people from the US who are family members, girlfriends, boyfriends, friends of people who are in Canada who've been waiting to be able to come to Canada to visit their loved ones. So now for US citizens, you are eligible to come to Canada as a visitor. Okay, that was starting August 9th. Coming up is a special date of September 7th, where we're looking at potentially the government opening up our borders to fully vaccinated travelers from all countries in the world. As of right now, it is tentative, so not confirmed yet. We are exploring that option based on what's happening in terms of the COVID numbers. So if you are planning a trip to Canada, but you are from another country outside and you're looking to come for a discretionary reason, I would just say to hang tight, hold on booking your flights and waiting to see until we receive a green light confirmed that the borders are opening up. So we should see something or hear something in the next 2 weeks, okay? If you want an update on the latest border updates or any of the immigration programs, I would also recommend that you sign up for our newsletter, www.visaplace.com, so that you can get the latest details emailed to you if this is something that you are following. Just a reminder for those who are looking to travel to Canada, if you are fully vaccinated, if you've received both doses, you need to wait at least 2 weeks, 14 days after your last dose to be fully exempt from the quarantine requirements, okay? In addition, the previously instated hotel stopover, where you have to stay in a hotel for 3 days, that's been eliminated, so that's not a requirement anymore as of August 9th. As well, you have to do a COVID test within 72 hours of arrival. So that is still in place. Don't forget to book your COVID test before travel. And you also need to have a quarantine plan as a backup. So make sure you know where you're staying, how you're getting there, and where you're getting food. And most importantly, download the ArriveCan app. That's available on Apple and Android. Make sure you post all your details there, and that really helps speed up the process at the border upon entry. If you have any questions about traveling to Canada as a visitor, any of the quarantine requirements, any of the border closures, let me know. Post a question in the chat box and I'll be able to get to you. Okay. So let's talk about express entry. Express entry is our primary program for permanent residents. As I'm sure many of you know, for everyone that's interested in applying for permanent resident, express entry is the main way to get into Canada and to apply. Within express entry, we have the Canadian Experience class. We've got federal skilled worker programs, which are sub-programs to apply for permanent residence. I think a lot of you who tune into the Facebook live sessions each month, we're looking for updates on what's happening, especially specifically for federal skilled workers, people who are outside of Canada interested in applying for permanent residence here. So as of today, we still haven't received any program draws for federal skilled worker. Last year, we saw that start up in July. This year, we still haven't seen that. I still do think that we are going to draw for federal skilled worker in the next couple of months, hopefully, fingers crossed. I can speak about the latest draw on August 5th, where 3,000 invitations were issued to applicants in the express entry pool for Canadian Experience class. So again, this is specifically targeted to people who are in Canada, who have been working and have gained 1 year of Canadian work experience. So the score was 404 and above. We've seen the score be on a decline for the last couple of draws, but it did go up a little bit to 404 this last draw. That's also due to the amount of invitations that were sent out. Typically, we see around 5,000, 4,500, but this specific draw was a little bit smaller, so 3,000 kind of drove up the score there. For me, what this means that there's something coming. Something's bubbling. In the express entry realm in Canada. Perhaps the next one might be a federal skilled worker draw. Perhaps the next one might be a federal skilled trades draw. We're not sure, but I would say if you are interested in applying for express entry, or if you have applied for express entry and you're specifically looking for the federal skilled worker draw, I would say hang tight. And then we'll continue to share these updates with you. But it's definitely coming in the horizon. the government's just waiting for the borders to reopen, see how things go. If borders reopen, federal skilled workers, people outside of Canada, most definitely can come to Canada and settle as a permanent resident. So I think the two are aligned in that sense where after September 7th, we can see some traction in that space. Okay, so any questions about express entry? Any questions about economic immigration, federal skilled worker, Canadian experience class? Leave a note for me in the comments below, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Let's see. Okay. The next thing that I want to share today is immigration for Francophone folks and people who are French speakers. And specifically, if you have a good working knowledge of English as well. I think a lot of people may not know, but Canada's official languages is English and French. So there are a lot of measures and programs that are in place to help grow and foster French language outside of Canada. French language has been a big part of our Canadian history and our culture. So that's why it's very important for immigration to be able to help grow and maintain French language capabilities outside of the province of Quebec within Canada. So as of today, for express entry, if you speak French at an intermediate level, 7 or higher, you can get 25 additional points if you score a level 4 in English. And a level 4 in English is pretty basic if you've got a good grasp on English speaking. You can score an additional 50 points. So that's 50 points if you score a level 7 in French as well as a level 5 in English. So about medium intermediate. 50 points in express entry is a huge advantage, in my opinion, for the federal skilled worker draws or even Canadian experience class. Typically, our points range is about mid to high 400s. So that 50 or 25 points can really push you over the edge and make you very competitive to apply for permanent residence in Canada. So something to keep in mind if you are from a French-speaking country, if you're from France, from Senegal, any of those, and you have good English speaking skills, I think it would be very worthwhile to at least see and assess whether or not you qualify for permanent residence through express entry. So that's it for permanent residence. I want to talk a little bit about temporary residence. There is a work permit program in Canada called Francophone Mobilité, which specifically helps facilitate French speakers to come to Canada. You need to show that you're fluent in French and that your habitual primary language is French. You're destined to work outside of the province of Quebec. So province of Quebec is our primary French province, but again, we want to grow French speaking capabilities outside of Canada. So if you've got a job offer outside in Ontario, British Columbia, Prince Edward Island, none of it, the Francophone Mobilité work permit is the one to get you. Okay, so if you know friends, if you have colleagues, if you have family members that can help kind of get you a job outside of Quebec, you don't need to speak French for the job. The job can be in English, but if you speak French, if you're from a French-speaking country, you have an opportunity to work outside in Canada and have a job offer in a skilled position. So typically it's managerial, professional, or technical or skilled trades. There's an opportunity for you to get a work permit, a work visa to come to Canada. Okay. If you work in Canada for a minimum of 1 year, you'd most likely be eligible to apply for permanent residence through the Canadian Experience Class program. So that is just one pathway in order for you to apply for permanent residence in Canada. Moving on to the Agri-Food Pilot Program, an application process for permanent residents. We get a lot of calls from seasonal agricultural workers. So if you are from a Caribbean country who's eligible for an SAWP, Seasonal Agricultural Work Permit, to do work in Canada related to farming, to harvesting, you may be eligible to apply for permanent residence. I mentioned this program today because we do get a lot of calls. We do get a lot of inquiries from people from Trinidad, from Jamaica, who are in Canada and want to stay here on a permanent basis after having worked here. And I wanted to share a little bit about the eligibility criteria in order to apply for permanent residence under this program. You need to have at least 1 year of work experience in the occupation. So we're looking at meat manufacturing, butchers, food processing laborers, greenhouse and nursery and floriculture production, so general farm workers, as well as animal production, including poultry and egg production. Those are just examples of eligible occupation. If you're working in Canada in one of these areas, there may be an opportunity for you to apply for permanent residence. You also need a permanent job offer from your employer. So if you've been working here and your employer wants to extend a full-time position to you, this would be it for us to apply for you and your family to come and stay here in Canada. You also need to have an English level score of 4 and above, and you also need to have a minimum education requirement of a high school equivalent in Canada. So those are just the base requirements for us to apply. If you know anyone that's here, if you're a family member of somebody who's working within agriculture in Canada, this is just one way for us to help that person apply for permanent residence here. Of course, there's other avenues as well too. So I would recommend booking a consultation with us so that we can take a look at everything, and one of our team members can help look at those options and share that with you. Okay. Okay, so that is it for all of our updates. If there's something that you would like for me to talk about on our next sessions, feel free to leave a note for me, and we can add that to our agenda for next time as well too. If there's anything you want me to explain, if you want me to, share anything, feel free to let us know, and we'd be happy to take it into consideration. Moving on to our question and answer period. I see some really great questions here. So thank you for posting them, and please do keep them coming so that I can help shed some light for anything that might be unclear for you in terms of Canadian immigration. I'm just going to pull up our Q&A page here. Let's see here. Okay. So the first question we have is, there we go. First question that we have here is, what is the best immigration pathway for registered nurses from Nepal? Okay. Really great question. I think, as everybody knows, the healthcare sector in Canada is a really huge area for demand, where there's simply not enough people to work in the healthcare sector, and nurses is, of course, always needed here. There are several opportunities in programs for people who are outside of who are outside of Canada but are nurses to apply. Okay, so we've got permanent residence through federal skilled worker. We've got also specific provincial nominee programs where registered nurses have been issued nominations to a province and apply for permanent residence. Unfortunately, I do have to review all of your personal requirements as well in order to recommend the best pathway for nurses. But typically, you would need a bachelor's degree in nursing and at least a few years of work experience, at least 3 years of work experience as a nurse, as well as a good, strong level of English or French speaking capability. Those are just the base kind of requirements to apply. And if you feel like you meet those criteria, most likely you'd be eligible to apply as a registered nurse for immigration to Canada. I want to know how much it costs and process if it costs to bring my girlfriend from China that is a doctor there. So that really depends. What's your status in Canada? Are you a permanent resident? Are you a Canadian citizen? Have you lived together before? Family sponsorship is maybe just one way if you qualify to bring your girlfriend here, your partner here from China. But if she's a doctor there, most likely she's got very good education, at least a PhD level, also good work experience, depending on her age as well too, and maybe her English speaking skills. It sounds like she's a really good candidate for express entry federal skilled worker. So maybe that might be one way for us to bring her here. Happy to take a look at that and provide further details. You can book a consultation with us, and I'll share a code at the end here so that you can get a discount off a consultation with one of our team members. I've been an English teacher for 15 years, but I didn't graduate from teaching college. Could I get a job as a teacher there? We've got a lot of teachers abroad who are looking to come to Canada. That's a great question. I think you can get a job as a teacher here. It really depends. Typically, the school boards does require you to have some sort of diploma or certification from a college, but there's also many private institutions. Perhaps you can work as a tutor here. There's just so many different options for work here as a teacher. So absolutely, yeah, you can. I don't have an IELTS. Can I still immigrate? Under economic immigration, most likely not. You do need to have IELTS. You do need to show that you can speak English or French in order to come to Canada. But under family sponsorship, you wouldn't need an English language capability. Is it possible to change my tourist visa category and find work once I'm in Canada? Really, really great question. Yes, you can. Okay. It is possible to change your status in Canada from visitor to worker. And I think that's a really great point that you share. A lot of times, it might be easier for you to find the job once you're here in Canada. So once you've got your tourist visa, it's easier for you to meet people, to meet with employers, to network, and see what opportunities there are for you here. So absolutely, if you have a job offer and you find work that is interesting to you and you want to do that work in Canada, we can definitely get you a work permit. We do have to assess that a little bit better, but absolutely you can change from visitor to worker from within Canada. That's not a problem. Okay, so next question is, I am a professional teacher from Ghana, hello, and I want to move to Canada. How can you assist me with the visa issue because I have been scammed a lot? I'm really sorry to hear about that. You know, unfortunately, there are a lot of scams and fraud, also kind of originating from Africa, African countries as well, where immigration consultants or people claiming to be an immigration professional scamming people out of a lot of money in order to come to Canada. Some of the few ways that I think that might help you is one, make sure that you work with a reputable firm. Make sure they have good reviews. Make sure they are licensed professionals. So either a lawyer or an immigration consultant who can help you. There are ways for you to be able to check that in order before you work with somebody. On our website, we do have a blog post about that. So if you want to take a look at that, that would give you a good idea of, is the person you're working with a legitimate person? At Visa Place, we've been in working and operating in Canada for over 20 years. We have a team here of talented lawyers, top lawyers and consultants who would be so happy to support you on your immigration journey to Canada. So we most likely would be very suitable to help you with your family's immigration to Canada. As a teacher from Ghana, as I mentioned um, a little while ago, most likely you'd be eligible to apply under economic immigration. Another avenue potentially would be if you have a family or friend in Canada who perhaps need a caregiver for their parents, or someone to take care of their young children while they work. Teachers also make very good caregivers. Again, there's always a huge need for caregivers here, so that might be just one way or one opportunity for you to be able to apply for permanent residence here. Okay. The next question. Hi, I have a question to apply for a work permit caregiver visa. What kind of proof of funds is a sponsor have to show? Is it mandatory to show the income through tax paper? Depends. I think you might be in Canada. If you are in Canada and you have a job offer, um, you most likely wouldn't be needing to show proof of funds unless you are looking to bring your family members as well. Um, if you can show income through previous tax filings, that's always a great base. Excuse me, a great way to include that information within your application. Um, our team here does a lot of caregiver applications, so we'll be happy to take a look at that closer for you and help make sure that you're putting forth a very solid, strong application for a caregiver work permit. Absolutely. Oh, I think you're asking the proof of funds a sponsor has to show. Is it mandatory to show the income through tax paper? If you're talking about the employer, then the answer is yes, you do have to show. I hope that answers your question. I worked with a Canadian company for the US government. I am in the USA. Since I worked for a Canadian company in Afghanistan, can I still have my family migrate to Canada? Okay, so let's break this down a little bit. You worked with a Canadian company for the US government. You're in the United States right now. But I think you mean you work for a Canadian company for the US government in Afghanistan. I would say potentially yes, if we can show your contributions and relations with the Canadian organization. Absolutely, I think there's an option there for you to immigrate here as a permanent resident. I think if there's a connection that's there already, I think the best way is to definitely explore that. And perhaps submit an application anyway so that we can support you and your family and make sure you're safe. There's other things that we can do to take a look at that further to help kind of strengthen your application. So we'll need to assess that in more detail to confirm. But absolutely, I think that would be worthwhile to take a look at. Is it necessary to give proof of employment letter when applying for a Canadian visitor visa? What if an individual doesn't have a job? Can you advise what alternative proof can we show in that situation to the visa officer? That's a really great question. Proof of employment is a very strong indicator for somebody who is applying for a visitor visa. It shows that you have strong ties in your home country, which means that if you get a visitor visa, you go to Canada, most likely you'll be able to you will return to your home country, right? So having employment in your home country is always a very good, strong evidence that you are eligible and qualified to apply for a visitor visa. Now, if you don't have a job, there are other ways that we can take a look at that we can help support that visitor visa application. Specifically, if someone's inviting you to Canada, if you got family members in your home country that you need to take care of, if you go to school in your home country, if you're involved in the community in your home country, if you're doing any other type of work or any other type of involvement, that's just one way in order to paint the full picture that after you visit Canada for a short period of time, you will return to your home country. In addition to having property, funds, savings. Those are just some of the base ways to show that. When will the next SIMP draw be? Really great question. We have a lot of interest in SIMP. Just give me a second, or I can get back to you on that, okay? Just give me 1 second. So SIMP draws will most likely be this week. Last one was August 5th, so the next one is probably this week, either tomorrow or Friday, okay? I want to know about the Canadian Experience class. For sure. So the Canadian Experience class program has always been around in Canada, and that requires you to have at least 1 year of work experience in Canada. It has to be at a higher SNOC skill level, so A, B, or O. When I say these letters, it correlates with a certain skill level for a job. For example, an administrative assistant, an engineer, or a manager. Those are just examples of the type of jobs that you can have. If you are in Canada, if you're working in one of these skill level jobs, trades, whatever it is, after completing 1 year of work experience, so typically 30 hours per week for a full year, 12 months, you would be eligible to apply for permanent residence in Canada. Are the borders open for Scottish citizens? Not quite yet. So September 7th is the next date that we're looking at. If you're fully vaccinated and you're from Scotland, most likely you'd be eligible to come in the first week of September as a tourist or for a non-discretionary reason. If you've got a job offer, if you're going to school here, if you have a family member, an immediate family member, or someone that you're dating in Canada, those might be an indicator for you to be able to come before then as well too. Okay, so it's just something to take note of. How can you migrate from the US if you scored under 400 CRS points? That's a really great question. Under 400 CRS points, likely you may need to rely on a provincial nomination. So depending on what kind of job you do, what kind of your work experience, maybe what family members or friends you have in Canada, you may likely be eligible to receive a provincial nomination. Alternatively, if you're from the US and you want to go to school here in Canada, I think that's a really great opportunity for you to get additional points for express entry. If you want to do a 1 year post secondary diploma, if you want to do a postgraduate certificate, if you've been thinking about going to school and you want to upskill and put a better education or diploma on your resume, I think coming to Canada, going to school here is always a great option for you to consider if you're really serious about applying for permanent residence to Canada. How can I verify the employer when the job offer will come to me? That is a really great question. We have seen many fake job offers, fake employers that are giving these job offers that qualify you for a work permit here in Canada. I think the best way, do a Google search, see if the company exists. Sometimes these fake companies even have a fake website or a fake Google listing. So you want to do your research, make sure your employer is legitimate. But not having a job offer alone is not enough to come to Canada, most likely. Most likely, okay? There's a caveat there. You will likely need to be able to get a work permit as well in order to have a qualifying job offer to come to Canada. So it's our job here at Visa Place to review your work permit options. As part of that, we need to make sure your employer is legitimate. They need to file a form to the Canadian government to show that they're giving you a job offer. So there are checks and balances in place that we can that we can do for you to make sure that you've got a legitimate job offer. For express entry, is there any age bar put in place? Yes and no. So when we say an age bar, there's not a cap where you're no longer eligible to apply for permanent residence, right? So if you're 55, if you're 65 years old and above, you cannot apply for express entry. So there's no age cap in that sense, but there is an age cap in the terms of the number of points that's available to you to get maximum points for express entry. So that age is 45 and above. So if you are 45 and above, unfortunately, I don't think you would receive any points after that for express entry. But if you've got really good education, if you've got really good work experience, if you've got excellent English or French language capabilities, that may offset the age factor. Okay, family in Canada, study in Canada, those are other ways as well too. Why is the requirement to pass the language necessary to apply for express entry program? That's a really great question. Express entry at the end of the day is an economic immigration program, which means that you are likely expected to work and contribute to the economy in Canada, having a job here. So our two languages, as I shared before, is English and French. For you to work here, to interact with Canadian citizens and our people here, I think the expectation is that you will need to be able to read, write, listen, and speak in one of our primary languages, in one of our official languages, sorry. So that is why the language testing requirement is mandatory for express entry. Can I get a job before moving to Canada using the Job Bank LMIA list of jobs? Absolutely, yes. Take a look at Job Bank. See what opportunities are there for you. Apply for jobs. Apply. I cannot stress this enough. You can absolutely find a job here before moving to Canada through that job bank, because there are employers in Canada who are trying to find a Canadian citizen or permanent resident to do the job. But there's many opportunities where they haven't been able to locate someone. So that's why employers go to the job bank to post for a position. Okay, so yes, I would definitely take a look at that. If you find an employer, if there's a match where you can do the job, and the employer is offering a position, we can secure a labor market impact assessment or a work permit for you to come here and work with your employer. Can I get a job before moving to Canada? Oh, no, sorry. I just want to ask if I have a chance to work in phlebotomy in Canada. I have worked here in Saudi Arabia for 13 years until now. Potentially, yes. As I shared before, healthcare sector is really huge here. A big area where there's a lot of occupations in demand. Phlebotomy, medical technologists, medical technicians. I think there is a really good opportunity for you to find work in this area in Canada. I'm a Canadian citizen living in Quebec. My boyfriend is from the UK and wants to come live and work here. Would flying here as a visitor and then finding a job here be a path towards obtaining permanent residence? Thank you so much. Okay, so we've got a Canadian citizen living in Quebec. You're in a relationship with someone from the UK. Depending on the age of your boyfriend, he may qualify for a work permit under the Working Holiday Program to work and live here in Canada. So, maybe take a look at that and see if he qualifies for that. Also, depending on what kind of work he does in the UK, he may qualify for another work permit. A lot of people don't know, but Canada and the United Kingdom, we have a free trade agreement where certain professionals are eligible to get a work visa to come and work here. But other than that, as a UK citizen, you don't need a visa. You can come to Canada most likely after September, provided that they are fully vaccinated, to come visit you. Even as a visitor, your boyfriend can live with you in Canada for some period of time. If you're interested in doing a spousal sponsorship as a common law partner, you need to live together for a minimum of 12 months, and then potentially you can apply to sponsor your partner as a permanent resident that way, and you don't have to get married, okay? And he would be able to get an open work permit as well too, halfway through that process. So lots of different avenues here for your boyfriend to come to Canada. Probably a consultation would be best. We can take a look at everything further, look at his resume, see what we can do to help get him here. Okay, so next question. When applying for a visitor visa, approximately how much money in Canadian dollars is required for proof of funds for 3 family members? That is an excellent question. So there's no published financial requirements for visitor visa. Okay. There are published, I guess, kind of income levels for permanent residents. For visitor visa, the officer is looking at everything as a whole. We're looking at your employment back home, your assets, car, land, house. We're looking at everything in order to make a determination that you and your family members are qualified to get a visitor visa, and that you'll be able to support your stay while you're here in Canada. So I can share the proof of funds for permanent residents. Okay. And maybe that'll give you a good inclination. But again, I would say take this with a grain of salt. It's not the end all and be all for visitor visa applications. So for a family 3, we're looking at $40,000 for income. So again, this is for permanent residents and not temporary residents. With temporary residents, you want to take a look at how much it would cost for you to come to Canada, to pay for accommodations, to pay for food, and to pay for your basic needs for 3 members. That would be a really good indication for that. Okay, I hope that helps. What are the minimum requirements for skilled immigrants? Typically, education, higher education, work experience, at least 1 to 3 years of skilled work experience, and an English language capability in either English or French, at a level 5 to 7 and above. I'm a caregiver in Israel. After my contract here, how can I apply as a caregiver in Canada? That's a really good point. We've got a lot of caregivers coming from the Philippines who go to Saudi, who go to UAE, who is working as a caregiver there, and they're looking to apply for a position or permanent residence in Canada. You need a job offer from an employer. So exhaust your network, see your family friends. Is there somebody who needs a caregiver for either their children or their elderly parents who can give you a job offer? If you have a job offer, very, very likely we can get you a work permit, we can get you permanent residence. Okay, so really, really take the opportunity to see if there's an opportunity, to see what chances and what options there are for you to get a job offer here. Regional Immigration Pilot, Ontario Foreign Worker Stream, PNP. Is it correct information that under this criteria, max age is 59 that has circulated by the regulatory? I have to take a look at that further for you. Unfortunately, I don't think we have time here. But if you want to book a consultation with us, I'm going to share a discount of 25% off. Perhaps you can meet with one of our team members and we can review the eligibility criteria for you under this program. Okay. To my knowledge, though, there is no max age cap, but I want to take a look at this further for you. If I am doing a 1-year study program, can my family come with me and be able to work for 1 year? yes, your spouse can come with you. Your spouse would be eligible for an open work permit while you study. Your children, if they are high school aged and below, they would be able to go to school for free in Canada. So yes, they can absolutely come with you. What is the best way to move to Canada directly with my family? Typically, economic immigration, express entry. If you and your family are serious about coming to Canada and you want to make the move here for better opportunities for you and your children or your spouse, book a consultation with us and we'll be happy to take a look at that. We'll share some options for you. We'll show you, what it's going to take, what the timeline is, so that you and your family can discuss this in further detail. If you come from an English-speaking country and your education level is a Bachelor of Science degree from the UK, do you still need to do the IELTS? Yes, everybody has to do an English language test. IELTS is a requirement even if you come from an English-speaking country and even if you've completed education from an English-speaking country. So unfortunately, there's no other exceptions, no ifs, ands, or buts. You do need to do an English language test, okay? Okay. So I don't believe there are any more questions for us here. Oh, I've got one more question. Okay, take one more. I am nearly 30 and I completed my master's degree. I have work experience of teaching for more than 5 years. How do I go about applying for express entry? Do I have a good chance? Yes, you do. You've got a very, very good chance to apply for permanent residence, especially given your age, especially given your education. Everything looks really, really good. I would say do it. Apply for permanent residence, apply for express entry. Our team here can definitely help you out. If you need some more information on that, we'd be happy to support you and put you in the right path moving forward. Okay, everybody. So I think that concludes our session today. I got one more question. What is the requirements for express entry? Our team here will be able to share that with you. Typically standard, you need education and you need good English or French language skills and some skilled work experience. So if you want us to review that with you or review your personal situation, we'd be happy to take a look further. Okay. All right. So if you would like to book a consultation with myself or with one of our team members, you can use the code VN25 for 25% off the consultation. You can book online, www.visaplace.com. There's a phone number there as well too if you want to call and talk with one of our team members to book you in. Definitely, you can do so. Again, come prepared to the consultation with all of your details for you and your family, so we can take a look at everything. In a consultation, we'll ask you a few questions, trying to figure out the best avenue, the best route for you. We'll give you a few options. We'll let you know what's involved, what you need to do, how long it's going to take. So all the questions that you have, you can ask us, and we'll be able to help you out, okay? Okay, so I think that concludes our session for today. Thank you again for joining us. Thank you for all the really great questions today. Make sure to tune in next month for another session like this. If you want more information, feel free to visit our website. We've also got great YouTube videos to help educate you on some of the immigration programs in Canada. And until next time, take care, stay safe, everybody, and we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.